It's a new dawn here in the football-mad city of Liverpool. We're on the banks of the River Mersey as Football Manager and FIFAe come together for the 2024 FIFAe World Cup.
This isn't just another esports event, it's a groundbreaking competition that brings Football Manager into the world of esports like never before. 20 elite managers from 19 FIFA member associations, each with an assistant, will battle it out over 5 days. They'll have to make all the crucial decisions across 3 seasons, dealing with the players, the board, the fans, and the media while trying to navigate their way to the top. And what's at stake? A massive prize pool of $100,000, some once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and the chance to be crowned the FIFAe World Champion. This event is for everyone, whether you're a die-hard Football Manager fan or just love the beautiful game. Follow the action and watch as these managers compete for glory.
Over the next 4 days, 20 managers will be battling it out here at the ACC in Liverpool. And then on Sunday night, we'll be crowning our winner in this very room. As long as it's ready, that is. These 20 managers have travelled from all over the world with representatives from 19 different FIFA member associations ready to compete against each other for the famous trophy. Here we go, look at this, we've got our managers here, we've got a press conference arena. This is proper football management. I'm buzzing for this. Hello everyone, welcome, welcome. Wow, it is time for the first ever FIFAe World Cup featuring Football Manager to kick off. I'm delighted to be joined by Lelujo, aka Kev, Statman Dave, aka Dave, to his friends. Lads, start with you, Kev. How excited are you to be here?
I'm so looking forward to this. I cannot wait to just get everything up and running. I want to see the game played immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're not going to see it immediately because we've got to do a draw first. We've got to find out, obviously, all these things. That's what today's show's for. But Dave, what are you expecting for the next few days?
It's going to be big. Formations, tactics, goals, assists, all the statistics. But I want to understand these managers. Are they going to be more Ancelotti, going with a kind of player-led approach, or is it going to be tactics, Pep Guardiola, positional play, all that good stuff? I'm excited, Spence.
Yeah, these are the nuances of a Football Manager that we love to explore. Kev, you know the game, as well as anyone. How much of a challenge do you think it's going to be making the step up from potentially, playing at home in a very different environment to playing in this arena?
I mean, it's going to be a situation that a lot of people have never been in before. The extra pressure of the time limitations and having the audience there, and kind of the pressure of there being quite a large cash prize available to them as well. It's going to be playing Football Manager in a way they've never played it before.
No. Dave, how do you think you'd fare in these conditions? What sort of manager are you?
I'm a data manager. Data-led, transfer's really important. I think it's getting a good striker in, getting a good defensive midfielder in and building from there, a playmaker at the back, goal scorer up front, simple as you like.
To people that maybe are not familiar with Football Manager, the game, Kev, explain to us what it is about the game that you love so much and why you've spent so much time dedicating yourself to it.
It's just, you can create your own world. It's a story generation engine where every game is completely different. You start from the same starting point, but you can just go off in any direction, and the amount of stories and fun and just absolute madness that can come off the back of being completely in control of a football club and basically doing it better than you see the guys do it in real life. That's the goal, isn't it? You want to show off and better than these guys he's mentioning before. Pep, what?
That's why we all love the game, though. I mean, and you made a sort of career and a name literally out of statistics. Statman Dave is what we call you, and that's what's a massive part of this game, kind of unlike any other.
No, it is for sure. I started playing when I was 10 years old. I've had 20-odd years experience in this game, and I think, looking at those statistics, I think that's where I found my career in football, and it's very applicable to football. A lot of the scouting, a lot of closing down from 5,000 players. How do you get to 50? How do you get to 10? You look at statistics, you look at ways of getting in, and then you look at the video to analyse that. And that's exactly what you do in Football Manager, and that's why the game is so good, because it's really, really close to the real thing.
100%. So what we're here to do this morning particularly is to find out who these managers and assistant managers sitting behind us, who they're going to be playing as, what the challenge they're going to be doing. And so before we get into all that, let's find out how this draw is going to work.
We've got 20 managers representing 19 FIFA member associations, and they'll be randomly drawn into 4 groups of 5. The first pick goes into Group A, the second into Group B, the third into Group C, and the fourth into Group D. The draw continues in order, looping back to Group A after Group D. But hold on, there's a twist. As host nation, England has 2 representatives, but they can't be drawn together, nor can they go in Group B. So, if the second ball is an English manager, they skip Group B and head straight to Group C. This keeps the competition fair and balanced. That's how the draw works, a perfect blend of randomness and luck, ensuring every group is filled with top-tier talent. Now, let the games begin.
Yeah, it's getting very real now. I've been joined by Dr. Benji himself, Will Brazier as well. Lads, good to have you here. We're going to find out very shortly who the 4 teams that these guys are going to be representing are in the different groups. But it's a challenge what we're taking on here this week, isn't it, Benji? Because it's never been done before. First of its kind. Very exciting, but we're learning on the job, aren't we?
We are. This is going to be a big challenge. There's a difference between us playing against the AIs and playing online. And so to navigate that, to find a way through, to be able to win it, it's going to be incredibly difficult. And to get used to the teams, they don't know the teams. That's going to be a big challenge for them. How are they going to find players that they've never played before or signed before? That's going to be a big challenge. I'm looking forward to it.
No, of course. And we're obviously, again, another big Football Manager fan, like we all are here. What are you expecting? These guys are about to find out who they're playing as. They're representing their countries here. A lot of pride on the line. Someone in this room is going to be the first ever FIFAe World Champion featuring Football Manager. What's that going to be like?
Well, there's just so many different permutations, isn't there, across the board. There's so many different clubs that could come up and different things that could happen. Dave was speaking about the stats. I'm all about the dynamics. I don't like anyone not liking me, and that applies to Football Manager. The squad has got to like me, and that's how I think these guys can get an extra advantage.
So very shortly, we will find out these teams. Imagine you're a player right now, Benji, sitting in the seats behind us here. You're about to find out who you're playing as. How can you have prepared for this? Because they knew a little bit about the format. Yeah. But it's a bit of a stab in the dark for a lot of these guys, isn't it?
I don't think you can prepare. So I don't know what they've done, but a waste of time. It's going to be, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. You'd want a team you're familiar with. You'd want something where you've managed before. So trying to cover a wide basis, maybe you've played in every continent, might be the way forwards. But again, almost impossible to prepare for, which gives them a challenge.
Yeah, and it links to what Dave was talking about, Will, which is, we all have our own identities as managers. Do you adapt to the team you get given? Do you go in there with your own philosophy and impose that on? We're going to see these comparisons, aren't we, over the next few days as the managerial styles come into focus.
I think we were saying we're so excited for day 3 because everyone's starting at the same point, but where do they get to in day 3? It could be so different. There's so many different things that can happen, and I think that's what's going to happen from day 1 all the way through. There's just so much that can change. Yeah,
it's like the 6 degrees of separation. You start Chinese whispers. You start one place. Where do you end up? Yeah. And obviously, we're going to go through all the format soon and find out the different challenges that these guys are going to take on. But it's a multifaceted tournament, isn't it? It's not the case of being good at just one element of the game.
No, and that is the challenge. The fact they've got to go from playing offline essentially to playing online, that's going to be the real difficulty because the game plays differently. And so as long as they can adapt to that, those 4 people that get through are going to be very, very difficult.
How do you think you'd fare, Will? What sort of manager are you?
Well, I'm quite disappointed I'm not here, to be honest, Spencer, playing in the tournament. But as you know, that's probably a good thing. I think it's one thing you do is look forward to a save, don't you, when you know who you're going to be. But these guys don't do that. So that's so hard to prepare and what's going to be thrown at you.
Yeah, we've still got to obviously meet the managers. We've got a few days to get to know them all and see, like we talk about their different styles and how representing the country might change their approach. What would it mean to you if you were representing England, for example, in this situation?
I'd panic. So I wish the 4 boys good luck because there's the pressure now of being the home nation, which any manager would have, right? And so if they don't do well today, it'll be curtains. That'll be it. They'll never represent England ever again. So the pressure is on.
Go on, Will.
I was going to say, we've also spoke about if the inevitable, not the inevitable, but the sack race happens around here. I mean, on the biggest stage of them all, I've had it in my bedroom, I've been disappointed, but to do it on the biggest stage and be sacked, I'll be worried.
I mean, that is, we're trying where possible. We've got the press conference sort of arena here. We're trying to bring in those real football elements, which the game does so well, doesn't it? There's nothing like it in terms of giving you the opportunity to see what maybe a career in football would be like. But this is where they've got to stand up and deliver under the lights, under the pressure of the cameras for their country. Yeah. Do you think they'll be able to handle it?
This is the closest they're going to get, probably, some of them, to being a manager, to have the experience of being a manager. So if you can't do it now, forget the career option, boys, because this is it. This is the moment now. And they've got 3 days to prove themselves. And then if they can get further, then they get further.
OK, this is it, guys. You ready? We're going to reveal the 4 clubs. This is the first it's ever been said before, and there's a lot to unpack here. But I can reveal exclusively our first club, which will be the club that all players in Group A are utilising, is from Japan and is Yokohama F. Marinos. Okay, so that is the Group A club. Group B is a club from this very country we're in right now. If you're in Group B, you'll be playing as Brighton and Hove Albion.
Oh.
Okay, so that is Group B. This is the first these players are hearing of it, by the way. Group C is going to be a club from the lovely country of Portugal. Sporting Club de Portugal is the Group C team. And finally, Group D will be Dinamo Zagreb from Croatia. So these guys have just found out who they could potentially be playing as. We're going to unpack it all a lot more later, but initial reaction, guys, what are the different challenges facing the guys?
There's some teams in there that are going to expect to do well, and those clubs will want them to do well to showcase how good they are on Football Manager. I say there's a few you mentioned there. Sporting will expect to do well in their league. Brighton is the biggest challenge because week in, week out, you either play a very good team or a team that you're expected to do well against, and you've got European football to contend with. It's going to be extremely difficult, but I look forward to that.
You can feel the atmosphere in the room has just changed, doesn't it, Will? Because they've just found out, they're all murmuring in the background. I know what's in their brains right now as a Football Manager player. They want to get the heck out of here, get on the computer, start getting familiar. Like, how would you handle this news, Will? You obviously don't know who you're playing as yet, but you know you're going to be one of those 4 teams.
I was just looking around the room then, there was a few people nodding, but I'd love to know what's going in that head there. Is it like, oh God, what's going on here? Because like, they've just been dumped with these teams. And like Ben said, like you're either up the top or you could be down in mid-table. There's so many different expectations on these teams.
Okay, it's time to find out a little bit more about our challenge team, starting off with Group A's Yokohama F. Marinos. There we go, F. Marinos there, the first club that's been revealed from Group A. Have you had much experience in Japan, Benji?
I've not been, so no. J-League is a relatively new addition to Football Manager, and so they won't have had years and years of experience, the players in those leagues, the teams. That's going to be the biggest challenge, knowing where you can bring players in, where you can get players out. Obviously, if you've played there before, I think that's a massive advantage. If you've got knowledge of the player base of that nation, you're going to be flying. If you haven't, good luck.
Yeah, so imagine, Will, you're going to find out in the draw in a second that you're put in Group A. I mean, without giving too much away, I'm not sure these guys need your tips anyway, but what was your first process going to be? You know you're managing these guys. What are you going to do?
The expectations there are you've got to win the league. I think they're the title holders going into the save you're about to start. So the expectation might seem quite easy to get that with the league that you're in, but then it's like, where do we go in the cup competitions? Where do you like put your squad in that aspect? So there's just so many things to do. There's also certain rules with the league as well when signing players. So you might have dreams and goals of aspirations to sign in a big pool of players when really that there are quite limitations on that as well.
There's so many moving parts. It's crazy. That's what we love about it, though. Just chatting really briefly to some of the players while we were watching that video. A couple of guys said they fancy Group A, so we'll see. But obviously, there's 3 other groups to talk about. This next one, Group B, a bit closer to home, certainly for the English players here at least. Brighton and Hove Albion. Let's hear more about them. So, Brighton and Hove Albion. As you mentioned, Benji, a very different challenge, maybe to all the other clubs we're going to look at in this process.
Yeah.
But can you expand on that a little bit? Why do you think this is arguably one of the more challenging ones?
Well, I've been to Brighton, and so I know it a little better. I think, again, you might need two tactics. That's the difference between the other divisions. Some of the other teams can sort of run through those divisions, hopefully, whereas Brighton will not have the opportunity. There's so many big teams in that league that you're going to have to navigate those, and that's going to be the biggest challenge, whether they can do that. And to get the consistency, that's going to be the difficulty.
It could be a lot of differential, right, between the different guys performing as Brighton. Over 3 years, you could see some things won, you could see less things won. How would you perform 3 years at Brighton, Will? What are you aiming for in those 3 years?
Well, 3 league titles for me, Spence, but that's not for everyone. But I think money talks with Brighton. I think they've got such a big budget. We talk about how the team's going to look at the end of the third year. It could be at the end of this first pre-season window because they've got such a big budget to spend. They've got sellable assets. It's like, what do you do with that? Do you sit on them? Do you sell them? I think there's just so much you can do with that Brighton squad.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because from a football manager perspective, it's a very football manager type club in the sense of, can you overperform in the way they do in real life? You know, what they've done over the last few years since getting into the top flight, the way they've invested in the transfer market is fascinating. We're going to learn a little bit more about that throughout the week. But yeah, really interesting to see how these guys, the 5 countries that are put in the Brighton group, how they perform. It could be a very interesting one. Obviously, going into Group C, we have a club from Portugal that go by the name of Sporting Club de Portugal. Well, I'm delighted now to be joined by a new guest who goes by the name of Raul Ribeiro. He is the Technical Coordinator of Talent Development at Sporting Club de Portugal. First of all, Raul, thank you for being here. It's really great to have you. I actually can reveal something exclusive, I believe, right now, which is that the winners of the respective groups are going to get the opportunity to actually spend some time working with the club that they represent. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that might entail?
Yes, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. The group winner will have the opportunity to come with us to visit our club and see how we work and how we do our all the stuff.
This is what I personally, one of the things I really love about Football Manager is those transferable skills. That's the fact that you can actually learn things from playing the game that can be utilised in real life. We've seen many managers kind of start their career, if you like, playing the game. And that could be something that we see over the next few days here, the start of a beautiful career, maybe a future manager, a Sporting Club de Portugal, you never know. But can you talk to me a bit about your role as the Technical Coordinator of Talent Development? What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yes, I'm a technical coordinator and a head coach of the department, so the elite talent development. I work individually with the players of the academy to approach them to the level of our professionals teams. We have a A team and a B team, and we work with all the academy teams, individual work with the players to get them closer to the level of our A team and to put the players to put it there, so the main coach of the A team can put it in the game and be champions again.
And you have, don't know who yet, but 5 of the guys sitting behind you are going to be representing your club in this tournament. If they were starting work at Sporting Club de Portugal in real life, what would the sort of messaging they get about your club be? What do you expect at your club in terms of performance, in terms of silverware, winning trophies? Like what's the culture of the club?
In Sporting, we always want to play to win, to create high top level players that we have. Fortunately, we have some high players in our history, like Ronaldo, like Figo, and everything. So it's a very good pressure to make all the good for them, to put them in the A team.
100%. Raul, it's really great to have you here. We're going to see you again shortly in the draw, but to find out a bit more about our fourth team, it's going to be Group D, and it's going to be Dinamo Zagreb. So there you go, Dinamo Zagreb. And again, I'm very fortunate to be joined by Marta Naletelic from Dinamo Zagreb. First of all, welcome. Great to have you here. How does it feel that your very famous club from Croatia is going to be represented here in this tournament?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us for Dinamo Zagreb, for me myself, because I'm a big fan of Football Manager. I played myself, and yeah, for Dinamo's exposure at such a great tournament, and yeah, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. And as we mentioned earlier, if you win your group, you're going to get the chance to go and visit and work with the club in question. So for Zagreb, what would that opportunity look like at Dinamo?
Yeah, we will visit us at Zagreb. We will watch a game together. After that, we will talk to our sporting director, to people from the academy, to see how the day-to-day business is working at a football club on the scale of Dinamo Zagreb, because it's, of course, something else if you are going to Manchester United or to Dinamo Zagreb, but I think it's more interesting at our club.
Of course, and this is real-life exposure. Sort of money can't buy opportunities within the football world. We spoke to our friend from the Sporting Club de Portugal about their culture and what is expected there. Can you tell us a bit about Dinamo Zagreb and the history of the club? And if a new manager walked in the door, what would he be told and is expected of him?
Yeah, as first, Dinamo was founded 1911, so it's a big club with a big history in the region. For me, the biggest club. What is also important that we are producing a lot of talent. 2018 at World Cup, FIFAe World Cup, when Croatia played finals against France, 14 players were former Dinamo players. So we are world record breakers in that matter. So a lot of talent is coming from Dinamo Zagreb. And what's important, you have to win titles. And not like we will win the cup or maybe the league. You will win the league and the cup every year with this minimum.
I like it. It's pressure, but it's good pressure. Right, I'm going to be joined now by Chelsea Kabakis, who's with two representatives from England.
Thank you, Spencer. We're in Liverpool. Emotions are running high. Today's the first day of the competition. $100,000 on the line. Let me repeat that. $100,000. I'm joined by English team Jack and Aaron. Please tell me, what's going through your mind right now?
Well, I'm not going to lie, the £100,000 is life-changing money, but hearing that you can work, if you know me, working for a club is a dream, so my focus is on that now. I'm not going to lie to you, my focus is on that now.
What are your expectations for this tournament? Now, this is the first one. What are your expectations going into this?
Just got to want to win it. Like, you've got to be here. If you're here, you know how to play the game, playing against some of the best players. I think everyone here thinks they can win. Hopefully I'll see 3 of them on Sunday.
Obviously, it's going to be a different environment. How different is it going to be from playing in your 4 walls? You're playing in front of an audience. Does that change anything at all?
I think luckily I'm a content creator, so I'm always speaking with an audience. But even before that, I was always talking to myself, and I always wanted someone to be over my shoulder looking at what I'm doing and what I'm achieving. So it's like I'm made for this, I feel.
Talking to yourself. What are some things that you say to yourself? I want to know.
This silly game. Anything that goes wrong is the game's fault. It's the game's fault. So it's mostly me just moaning at the game, totally honest.
You're not only representing yourself, you're representing a country. What legacy do you want to leave behind as a gamer?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, you want to be a winner, right? I've been trying to explain to my family what I'm doing. They're a bit confused. Some of them think I'm replacing Southgate. I think this is a trial, is it not? No, it's here to win. It should be fun. That's the legacy. Everyone here wants to leave, I think.
Now, what are some ways that you guys prepared for this?
Just play Football Manager how I always do. That's how you got to prepare for these tournaments, I feel, anyway. Well, I'm saying that. It's the first time ever, so I don't actually know. But I've just been playing Football Manager. On the train, playing Football Manager. In the hotel room, playing Football Manager. It's the only thing I know. If I'm totally honest with you, it's the only thing I know.
How many hours goes into this? I'm curious.
Don't count. Just play. It's a bit like real life football, right? You don't count. I guess the manager isn't counting how long he's been there for. He just he's focused on his job. He wants to do the job as best as he can. So that's where I'm at as well.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. All right, Spencer, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. I love that honesty there from Aaron. You know, none of us really know what's going to happen over the next few days because it is the first time for it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot along the way and we're going to crown a champion. So we've met 2 managers there. Of course, we've got 20 managers here in total. Let's take a look at them and get to know who is taking part. So this is our list of managers. As we mentioned, we have 20 managers from 19 different nations, 2 from England. They get an extra one as the host nation. And one of these names on the screen right now will win this tournament. We'll take some nice bit of pocket change home with them, but perhaps more importantly, get that coveted trophy and be the first ever FIFAe World Champion featuring Football Manager. Let's remind ourselves how this draw we're about to do is going to go down.
We've got 20 managers representing 19 FIFA member associations, and they'll be randomly drawn into 4 groups of 5. The first pick goes into Group A, the second into Group B, the third into Group C, and the fourth into Group D. The draw continues in order, looping back to Group A after Group D. But hold on, there's a twist. As host nation, England has 2 representatives, but they can't be drawn together, nor can they go in Group B. So, if the second ball is an English manager, they skip Group B and head straight to Group C. This keeps the competition fair and balanced. That's how the draw works, a perfect blend of randomness and luck, ensuring every group is filled with top-tier talent. Now, let the games begin.
Thank you, Chelsea. I'm delighted to be joined by a distinguished panel of representatives here to help us do the draw. Very important part of the process because obviously they're going to find out, our country representatives are going to find out who they're representing, and it could have a huge say in who gets through the group. So I have Adrian here, who we know very well across the eFootball history here, of the head of eFootball for FIFA. We have Jake Joy from Sports Interactive, our country manager of Korea. We have, as we met earlier, Raul Ribeiro from Sporting Club de Portugal, and Mata Naletalic from Dinamo Zagreb. I'm just going to put a blanket announcement out here now as well that I'm probably going to massacre a lot of pronunciations over the next few days. So I'm just going to apologise early doors. We haven't met a lot of you before, but I will get better. That's all I can promise you. Okay, so we have a really special message now from one of the most special managers of all time, Le Prof.
I'm sorry I can't be there with you today, but I want to wish all of you the very best of luck at this inaugural event. Managing a club is never easy. It takes strategy, planning, patience and application, and the deep understanding of the many aspects of the sports. Throughout my career, I've seen how much passion and hard work it takes to succeed, and I truly admire the dedication you have brought to this competition. Remember, it's not just about winning, but it's about learning and enjoying the process. I look forward to seeing who rises to the top. Good luck, all the best, and enjoy the competition.
Very cool. The main man himself, Arsene Wenger, sending a little message for our managers here. Okay, it's time to kick things off with the draw. You know it's big time, guys, when you have a draw vessel. Okay, we have a draw vessel right there, and Adrian is going to be the man that kicks things off. He's going to add the balls to the draw vessel. So good luck, everyone. We're going to find out what groups you're in. So we're going to do it in group order. So the first ball that's picked out will be the first country/player that is in Group A, representing Yokohama F. Marinos. So Adrian, if you'd like to do the honours.
It's Kafir Arslan from Turkey.
So there we go. Turkey are in Group A. We'll be representing the Japanese club. And Jake, if you'd like to pull the first name for Group B, please.
It's Enzo Bento, South Africa.
Enzo Bento of South Africa will be playing as Brighton in Group B. Raoul, Group C, please. First name in Group C will be?
Jack Beachman, England.
There we go. We met him just a minute ago. Jack, a.k.a. Work the Space, will be representing Sporting Club de Portugal in Group C for England. And if you'd like to do Group D for us, please, Mata.
Roberto Mila, Peru.
Roberto Miller from Peru will be playing as Dinamo Zagreb. And then we're going to just repeat this process group by group. So the second name in Group A is what we'll find out now.
Jean-François Leclerc from Belgium.
There we go. Belgium will be in Group A. Yokohama F. Marinos.
It's Loan from Netherlands.
Here we go. The Netherlands, Rowan van Leuven, will be playing as Brighton and Hove Albion.
Patryk Zamirski, Poland.
Patryk Zamirski from Poland will be using the Portuguese club Sporting Club de Portugal. And Mata, if you'd like to go for our second name in Group D.
Okay. Noor Muhammad bin Kamaruddin, Malaysia.
That is decent from you. We're going to go Noor. Well done, Noor. You're in Group D for Malaysia, Dinamo Zagreb. So it's half, well, not quite half, 2 of 5 names revealed so far in each group.
Mats from Norway.
Mats from Norway will be playing as Yokohama F. Marinos in Japan. Remember, we cannot get the English players in Group B, so we know there won't be.
Aaron from
So that
England.
means we can ignore him, but it means he goes through to Group C. So that, I teed that up perfectly there, by the way, guys. He won't go to Group C, actually, because we've already got an Englishman in there. So he'll go to Group D, I believe. There we go. See, we know what we're doing. Next one.
Jose Manuel Muñoz Sanchez, Spain.
Jose Manuel from Spain is going to be in Group B, I believe, because we skipped Group B and C, so that will populate in Group B. I'm fairly confident of that. If you'd like to progress, that's confirmed for B. There you go. This is Group C now. Third name in Group C will be Nija Mitra from India will be playing a Sporting Club de Portugal. So Adrian will now draw Group A again now.
We have Sven from Germany.
Sven from Germany. Guten Tag. In Group A. Now Group B.
Jae Ryung Ha, Korea Republic.
There we go. Makes sense. Sports Interactive country manager for Korea pulls out a Korean player. There we go. Brighton and Hove Albion.
Florian Grippon, France.
Florian Hippon from France will be playing as the Portuguese club, Sporting Club de Portugal. The penultimate name in Group D now. Mata will reveal for us. These groups really shaping up nice.
Aivaras Nekluida, Lithuania.
Alvaras from Lithuania will be in Group D. Playing as the Croatian club, Dinamo Zagreb. Last name for each group now.
Mohamed from Saudi Arabia.
Mohamed from Saudi Arabia will be playing as F. Marinos. Group A is now complete.
Daniel Almeida from Portugal.
Daniel Almeida from Portugal will be the final name in Group B. He'll be playing as Brighton and Hove Albion. balls. 2 balls remain now.
Iksan, Rahmat, Taufik, Indonesia.
Iksan will be the final name in Group C. So that group is now complete. And we have 1 name left to pull for Group D, from Dinamo Zagreb.
Yannick Hauser, Switzerland.
Yannick Hauser from Switzerland completes our draw, and you can now see, hopefully on this screen, our complete groups. There we have it. Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. We know exactly what challenge you'll be taking on over the next few days, and I can't wait to get it kicked off. Over to Chelsea now.
The draw just happened. Dr. Benji, you're someone that has so much experience in this. I mean, you've had time to marinate a little bit about these picks. What are your thoughts?
I'd love to know if any of them have managed in any of the nations before. You look at Marinos, so that's going to be tough if you've not been in Japan before. All the best. You can apply that to all of them, though. I think that's the challenge for all of them. Is that if they've got, I said it before, if they've got the base knowledge of those places, they'll be fine. Without that, this is going to be very difficult.
Does that change the tactics at all?
Probably not. If you've got a style, if they begin to change what they've done for a long time, the way they've played the game for years, that's when they'll come unstuck. If they stay with what they know, I think they'll be okay.
Is that what you would personally do? Stay with what you know?
I'd panic. I'd try anything that people have never done before. I'm a showman. I like to make it seem a little bit more interesting. I want to try and change the game.
Make it a show while we're out here,
Make it a
right? You know them personally. You know some of these gamers personally.
Yes.
Who do you think is going to win?
Well, Jack has been to Portugal. He sent me holiday pictures before, so I know Jack well. Whether that's going to apply to him managing Sporting or not, I guess we'll see. But yeah, the English boys I'm very familiar with, and I'm worried for them.
How does one manage their emotions during a time like this?
I think it's really hard. I think some of them won't have streamed before, and there's the pressure of streaming, as well as the pressure of playing and managing and getting results all at the same time. Yeah, it's a triple threat. I hope they're ready for it.
Someone that can explain and describe their emotions right now is Matt from Norway. Come on in. Can you please explain to me what's going through your mind right now, the emotions that are running through?
My first thought is we have to learn every name in the Japan League, and that's quite hard. So we've got to use a lot of time to get to know the team. I actually played in Japan League as preparation for this, so I'm a bit familiar.
Now knowing your competition, does that change anything?
I don't think so. We got our tactics and formations that we want to apply at the Marinos, and I think it's going to go well.
And how, are you nervous at all?
Not so nervous.
You should be.
I'm looking forward to it.
A lot of money.
Who are you looking to competing against? That's the main question.
So the Belgian team, they look so professional in their tracksuits. But Germany, I'm a bit frightened by Germany because they had a qualification where they competed against 31 other teams, and Sven went out winning the competition. So he's proved that he's a great football manager.
How do you plan to stay focused?
Just playing the game and have fun.
Just playing the game?
Yeah.
What about when everything's going on? I mean, you're playing in front of an audience. You're not playing in your room.
I think that me and Mats, we zone in when we play, and we just don't think about the pressure around us. We just play the game and have fun.
I shall apply more pressure then, because you're not nervous enough. You need to make him more nervous.
He's not nervous enough.
You need to make him more nervous.
At all. I mean, is there any feedback that you can possibly give him, having your expertise?
If you're streaming it, make sure people interact and get them to follow. Donations, that's good as well. There's lots of, this could be a career after this, so you've got to really work on that. So make it something.
And we got no experience with streaming. We're
$100,000 on the line.
Okay, that makes me a little bit nervous.
That makes you a little nervous, right? When money's involved, it makes you a little nervous.
Yeah. But we're so focused about the gaming, so I think it's going to be fun, and let's see how
If
how
you
it goes.
don't win, it'll feel like you've lost £100,000. So does that make you more nervous?
That's the great thing about being assistant manager. If we win,
there's no pressure.
If we win, it's us who's winning. But if we lose, it's the manager's fault.
Will you be changing your tactics at all now that you know who you're playing against?
Let's see how the squad is.
He doesn't want to give anything away.
We have our tactics, but formation can change.
Well, now we know who's playing who, and now it's time for a group explainer video. For the first 4 days, 20 elite managers split into 4 groups of 5 will each take charge of the same club within their group. To ensure a level playing field, all clubs are pre-configured by our admins with identical settings. The challenge? Adapting your tactics to a new club under pressure. Day 1 is all about preparation. Managers will have 3.5 hours to set up their clubs, configure tactics, and get ready for the first season. But they'll need to do it all manually. No templates, no wish lists, just pure managerial instinct. From day 2, it's game time. Managers will navigate their clubs through an entire season in just 9 hours, spread across 3 intense sessions. Every decision counts, from transfers to tactics, and they'll need to keep stakeholders updated along the way. Days 3 and 4, more of the same, with the pressure only increasing. Fail to meet the board's expectations and you'll lose points. By the end of season 3, only 1 manager per group will emerge at the top, advancing to the final day.
Yes, that is right. That is what stands before us over the next few days. And standing next to me right now, I'm delighted to be joined by Zealand, one of the big names of the FM community. First of all, how does it feel to be here for this inaugural event?
This is amazing. I still can't believe that this is real, walking in here, seeing all the lights for the first time. I know these guys just got to see it for the first time, but I've been looking at it for 2 days, just excited to get this whole party started because it is so cool.
And hopefully it is going to be a party. I mean, there's going to be some drama. There's going to be obviously a lot of exits. Only one person can win. And it's a brand new format, as we talked about earlier. You know, there was no one way to do this. The way we're going for it, as we've seen there, we've got this sort of group stage. If you get through that, you get into the draft. Multifaceted approach. How do you think you'd fare in these conditions?
I think this is better for me. I never thought I was some sort of tactical genius, but the first time that they mentioned the format at all to me and the first meetings we kind of had about it, they talked about how they wanted to do a holistic approach to seeing who's the best at the whole game and who's the best at being a virtual manager. And I think that's great. And I think that suits me. Obviously, I'm not competing. I'm up here with you. But it would suit me, and maybe some of these managers are better suited to that sort of environment than the fantasy draft that happens in the last day. So that contrast is going to be really fascinating.
Yeah, you're going to have a bit of both about you to win this thing. You know, we talked about the time pressures as well. You know, you have these sort of 3-hour segments. You've got 3.5 hours today to prepare. You know, do you think that's going to be an issue for some of these guys?
I think that's going to be the biggest issue for most of these guys. I know for me, I don't think I've ever played a season in 9 hours. They were aware that was the format coming into this, so I'm assuming that a lot of them or all of them have practiced getting a season done in that amount of time. You know what matches you need to maybe vacation through, what match speed you need to play at, and so on. But it is going to be a challenge, and it's always going to be in the back of these players' minds trying to deal with how little time they have to get through a season.
You mentioned challenges. Let's take a look at the groups and the specific challenges that these 20 competitors have in front of them. So you can see on the screen here, you know, we've got 4 clubs, 4 different nations obviously represented, or clubs as well. Have you got a view on which group you'd have liked to be in? You could have been in any of these groups if you were here representing USA in theory.
Yeah, I think that I would choose Yokohama F. Marinos personally.
Why is
because I think there's a couple different types of football manager players, and I was never somebody that sat there and grinded the analytics particularly hard. And I think if you are somebody that did that and was kind of trusting the exact analytics of all your different tactic tests, that Yokohama F. Marinos is the type of save that could be really challenging. You have a really strict homegrown requirement. You can't go out and get all the types of players that you want to build your tactic early on. So I think that's a really interesting challenge. But if you're somebody that has, you know, like basically everybody behind me does, you know, 1 billion hours in Football Manager, and you can see the music, you're going to be able to find the little changes you can make in a very limited player pool to make an impact.
Could be fun to debate over the Football Manager. Maybe they're in this room right now. This is a very different situation, as you mentioned, though, to how the millions of players play the game at home, right? This first group stage, they're not head-to-head in the sense of playing each other directly, but they are being compared as managers. How do you think that's going to affect people?
Well, I think that the way that it's set up is going to have an effect on people as well, because the 4 groups are all going to be right next to each other, right? And so if somebody's succeeding, if they're scoring, you're going to hear it. You're going to watch them celebrate. You're going to watch them celebrate with their chat. And so even though it is not technically PvP, there is a huge PvP element to the way this is all going to play out. And I think that we're going to see that from the moment play starts tomorrow.
Obviously, everyone here is a massive football fan. I know you certainly are. And over from America, here in Liverpool, such a famous footballing city. Did you go and watch a game last night? Is that right?
I did. I went to Goodison Park. I watched Everton beat Doncaster, and it was the first time I've ever watched a match in a Premier League stadium. It was actually very, very cool.
That was on your bucket list, wasn't it, to see Doncaster play? I think that from a long...
Yeah, yes, that was. I've always been waiting to see a League Two team. Finally got my wish. Everton did win, though, but it took till the second half. They were a little nervous.
Well, I'm glad you got to take that in, but we're going to see some fantastic stuff here, of course, over the next few days. Let's talk about, or let's hear about, the scoring, because we've got a very specific way of doing things and how these guys are going to be judged. Let's find out how.
In the FIFAe World Cup featuring Football Manager, your road to victory is all about racking up those points. Finishing strong in your domestic league is key. First place earns you 50 points. Second gets 40. Third, 36. And so on. Progressing in Continental and National Cups also boosts your score. Move to the next round in the Champions League for 5 points, or in the Europa League for 3. Win these tournaments and you'll score even more. 15 points for the Champions League, 10 for the Europa League, and 5 for each national cup you pick up. Your managerial performance matters too. If the board are happy and award you a grade A, you'll add 10 points to your total, but get graded an F and you'll get just 2 points. And don't forget the challenge of the day. Nail it and earn an extra 5 points each season. Every point counts as you try to climb to the top in the FIFAe World Cup featuring Football Manager.
So there is a lot to unpack there. Obviously, when you play Football Manager on your own, you're being scored by the obvious values of where you finish in the league and all these things, and you've got a board, you've got to impress. But with this, we had to come up with a new way of scoring people against each other doing the same save. So how do you think, I'll start with you, Kev, like, how do you think these guys are going to maybe change their approach from what they might have done at home to here in order to get maximum points?
Well, there's going to be potentially some tactical decisions that have to be made because, for example, if you're a team that's less likely to, say, win a Champions League and you're in the qualification stages, the question might be, well, do I deliberately not get into the Champions League so I can maybe get in the Europa League and have a better run at that competition? You're more likely to get further in and then earn more points. So there's some potential shenanigans that
I
could
can
be
see the
taking
guys behind you
place.
thinking, I didn't think of that. Trying to different things. There's a lot of different things that are going to happen over 3 years as well, Dave, isn't there? Like we've talked about it earlier, how your save can completely be identified uniquely to you versus your other managers, and you can leave an imprint on the squad.
I think one of the big things is going to be prize money. I think the Champions League, especially in Europe, is going to be massive because as soon as you get into the Champions League, get further into the latter stages, the money comes in. You think about the development of the club and your team, you need as much cash as possible. But I also think the academy side is going to be really interesting. There's some really solid academies from the sides that we've selected. So looking at that in a long-term strategy and thinking, even if we are going to jump out of a competition early, is it worth it from a financial perspective? Or do you want to push forward, get that cash, reinvest that and push forward? Loads of different options, Spence.
Zealand, how much do you know, and this is no pressure by the way, because I'm being very upfront and honest on this show about how this is the first of its kind, and we really don't know a great deal about how it's going to unfold, but pressure on you. Have you got an early favourite? Have you got anyone you're looking at, any country you're looking at you think could run deep, especially considering you've seen the draw now?
I'll tell you what, it's hard to pick an early favourite for the tournament because this is the first time we've ever had anything like this happen before. But I do have an early favourite group. That Dinamo Zagreb group is so fun because there are nations that are more involved, at least in the English language scene of Football Manager creation, and we get a lot of nations that are kind of emerging onto the Football Manager scene, at least in that English language side, for the first time in that last group. And Dinamo Zagreb, we're talking about where you're going to get your points from. You got to win the league every year, right? So if you fail to win one cup in that group, it is a disaster. Which means how far you get in the Champions League is really going to determine who gets out of that group, which to me is just incredibly fascinating. Like you're going to have a bunch of matches that you have to win, and then you're going to get to a few matches where if you can pull off that upset in some, Champions League playoff or something, that group is just going to be so fun to watch. Not they're all going to be fun to watch, but
are we talking park the bus? Long ball tactics to beat the Bayern Munichs, to beat the Real Madrids.
I mean, whoever is able to figure out how to do that and maybe get to a Champions League knockout stage with Zagreb, that's the person that's going to win that group.
And it's not just, obviously, the fact that you've got to win the league and we're going to have that pressure when you compare to the other managers. You might get sacked. If you don't win your league, especially in some of these teams that expect the most, we heard from some of the people that actually work at these clubs and the expectations that are put on the managers in real life. If you get sacked, just to be clear, you're out the tournament. It's over. Do you think that's going to happen?
Well, Portugal's a particularly tough league for that because you've only got 2 Champions League qualification spots and 3 teams that all expect to be there. So if you're not finishing top 2 with Sporting, I think you've potentially got a problem.
Well, one of the things, we've got this brilliant press conference area here and we've seen the draw already, but we are going to be using this throughout the week as well. We're going to be doing some sort of real-life press conferences as well as that happen in the game. A chance to grill the managers a little bit about their decisions, maybe mistakes, talking about their strategy moving forward. I think we're all going to be asking some questions of these guys. Have you got a strategy in mind for that, Zealand?
Yeah, I'm going to print out the actual press conference questions from Football Manager. Just try and create a more familiar
I'm holding
feel.
up the answers for multiple choice.
Because we haven't been asked them enough, have we? We've not heard them enough, those questions. But it's going to be a whole different side to this experience for these guys, isn't it, Dave? Because they're under the spotlight, not just when they're playing the game, but from a press perspective as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think the big players, do you sell your star player? Do you get that cash in early to reinvest it? You're looking at Sporting Lisbon. Victor Gokres, one of the informed strikers on the planet, directly involved in more goals than any other player since start of last season. That's real life football. But that applied to Sporting Lisbon. Do you do that? Do you move early? Do you bring another forward in? Do you build that guy up? Those types of questions I'm going to ask.
Yeah, and that's the sort of stat we're going to get from you as well. We enjoy them, Dave. That's what you bring to the table. Okay, so next time you see us, guys, is going to be for our first press conference later today. Really looking forward to getting inside the minds of the players. You can see the timings on the screen right now, 3 p.m. UK time. We're going to be speaking to Group C, and then at different times throughout the day, we're going to be finding out what everyone is up to. Of course, these guys are going to be streaming as well on their own platform, so you can keep up to date. Zealand, I know you're going to be streaming as well, which is going to be great to see. So lots to look forward to, and do make sure you join us for the press conferences. Get over the FIFAe social media for everything that's going on, of course. And that is our draw show concluded. Good luck to all our competitors. May the games begin.